All right. Welcome, everyone, to the 33rd Recovery Coaching Call. My name is Omar. I'm your host. And today we are going to help someone that is struggling with something. Who needs help? Who has something that they're currently struggling with and could use a little coaching, a little advice? Where are you at? And go ahead, Samantha, right out of the gate. I love it.
Hi.
Hello.
It's great to be here. I am, I guess, so I do AA, but I also do ACA recovery, adult children of alcoholics and family dysfunction. So I'm doing a lot of inner child work and reparenting and things like that. And I've always sort of struggled with discipline and getting a routine down for myself. And so with my job right now, I'm in sales and I've had this job for about 2 years. Before I had this job, I was in retail and I was there for 10 years and it was great, but I was like ready for a new adventure and looking at jobs in either like marketing or human resources and couldn't really find anything. It took about a year to look for jobs. And so I didn't really want to get into sales, but I was like, you know what, let's just use it as a stepping stone. And I'm just struggling with still just keeping a routine. And what that does is because I don't have a good routine, I get this imposter syndrome. Like I'm not doing good enough. I'm not, I should be doing more, and not really even with all of that. I've been trying to change that self-talk and try and be more positive and say, you know what, I'm just going to do what I can. And if that's maybe only 2 or 3 things in a day, then that's okay too. And then that's sort of given me this, like, I don't know, I guess off the hook, like I'm off the hook for, well, I did something, so I guess that's fine just for today. And it's great because it's like self-acceptance, but it's again, that imposter syndrome is still there. And I feel now at this point like I'm taking advantage of my job, and as I'm trying to live a more honest lifestyle. I just want a job that I do like and that I want to go to and that I want to work at. And so, I've been making a lot of pros and cons lists, and it's just running me around in circles. Like, this job does have a lot of benefits to it, but I don't know. I'm just not feeling it as far as, drive and meaning. And so I'm just hoping to get a little guidance and, I guess, direction. And should I continue to try to change my messages and make this job work? Or is it time to find a new job?
Okay. Repeat that last part. Is it time for me to change my message? What is it? Change my message?
Should I continue trying to change the messages around my job, like make it work for me? Or is it time to find a new job?
Okay. My job. Or find a new job. What are the current messages you're getting around your job?
From myself or from others?
whatever you just said here. Should I change the messages around my job? What is?
Yeah, like, I just tell myself all the time that I don't like my job and that it's not meaningful. And full disclosure, I got this job before I stopped drinking, and so I'm actually a wine distributor.
Oh, there you go. That could be one.
I really feel more these days like a drug peddler, and honestly, in all honesty, I would have just dumped this job a long time ago if it was a trigger for me. If I knew like it would be affecting my sobriety, like I couldn't resist but I don't know, something about this job actually helped me stop drinking, because it's, you know, selling into liquor stores and you know, people, you know, it just in the restaurant industry who also have alcohol problems but aren't doing anything about it. It's just really turned me off. And I'm like, I need to, it got me into AA, to be honest with you. And so I'm really grateful for that. But yeah, now I'm just like so unsatisfied with the product I'm selling. And I guess the reason I even try to convince myself to stay is, you know, job security. And I'm married, so I have a husband, and he is like, yeah, the other jobs I've looked into require more schooling, and he's like, we don't really have the money to have you get a job or a year to go to school and get a credential or a degree. And you know, so I guess it's not completely up to me. And yeah, I have also just been avoidant in, you know, there are other ways, right? I don't have to quit my job, but there's just that my inner child is like, you should quit your job. You know, so
Yeah, she sure is.
yeah.
Okay. So
we're at odds, us, my inner child and me.
Samantha, how old are you?
34.
Really?
Yeah.
Would have never guessed you were over 30. Okay.
That's so sweet.
Okay. So all right.
Wonders.
So you've got enough life history, not you know, like an overabundance, right? But you're definitely seasoned enough. So I like the word you used here. Something came to me. I was triggered when you said triggered. And you said, well, it's not triggering me, right? Like my job is not triggering me. So in other words, it's not triggering you to drink, right? So what is it triggering? Because it's triggering something. Hold on.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't say anything.
Sorry. Yeah, it is. I guess it's doing a number on my self-esteem. You know, I don't feel like I'm doing my job well. And you know, it gnaws at me. Like you know, my previous job, I got a lot of satisfaction out of it. I was able to, like, it was a small business, a small retail shop, customer service oriented. People were always like, you know, happy to see you, glad you're there, you're able to be helpful. We did like email lists, and I got to create emails and create events for the company and sort of see them through. And so there was a lot of satisfaction in that. And I thought that maybe when I got this job, that in a different way, I could still be creative and help somebody, you know, create a good wine menu for the restaurant, or help, you know, something like that. And just the reality of it has not been that at all. Like I said, I feel like I'm just like peddling drugs and feeding people's addictions. And especially since I've gotten sober, it's just really not satisfying. And
so it's what is triggering here is your sense of responsibility and duty. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And you also said, I'm not doing my job well. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, I just, so, you know, technically it's an 8 to 5 job, technically. I mean, I get paid on commission, so it's really like the time you put in is, you know, where you get the money. However, there are, you know, we have goals to reach each month, and I don't meet them. Sometimes I do, but not always. And I guess that's normal. You know, like I said, I think I'm harder on myself than even my boss is. But I think there's that imposter syndrome there. Like, he talks to me on the phone and I'm like, yeah, things are going great. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. but I just don't feel like, the effort is really there.
Yeah.
So, but I'm not going to tell him that,
Right. Okay, so let's do this. Let Leo, can you chime in real quick? Leo has a question for you or a comment.
More of a comment. Hi, Samantha.
Hi.
I could not do that. And it's when the safe injection sites were first coming around, people who, smashed before are now smashing other people. Would I be able as an alcoholic to pour something for somebody else? I would say to myself, Leo, you can't do that because you're not working your program. You're not working your program. You're supposed to. And so my sobriety would be crushed by my job. Now I get that it's a job and you got money coming in. That's damn great. And more power to you that you're bringing it here. And I would not be able to do that, ma'am. Not at all for me. And so when you get this off you, you're going to feel so much better.
All right, thank you, Leo. There's certainly a lot there in that comment, and I think deep down inside, you know what the truth is, Samantha. But when we're on these calls, the reason many of us are in situations that we don't like. We're either in a marriage we don't like, we're in a job we don't like, we have friendships or relationships or a family member that we are not either getting along with or is creating unmanageability in our lives. Like, if we could wave a magic wand, okay, and go, whoosh, this is what I want, then all would be amazing, right? But what's happening is there is some belief systems, there's some other belief systems that are as powerful or more powerful at work. And so the idea is to heal those.
Right.
Okay. So, I'm watching you right now as you talk about the current job, and then you're constantly talking about the old job. Okay. It's like, I really love my husband, but my boyfriend, the guy I had before, oh my God, he was just so amazing. And he listened to me, and we used to sit out and talk on the porch for hours. And, my husband, it's the right thing to do. He's like a super great guy, and, he's good to me, and he makes great money, and, and I feel very safe. But, oh, I remember the times when I was with my boyfriend back in the day, and we used to take these trips out into the mountains, and I'm watching you do this with this job. You're ruminating about what was. This other job brought you joy. Correct?
Yes. Yeah.
And does this job bring you joy?
No. Yeah.
So here's what happens. We, as addicts, okay, we'll just use those of us who have addictive tendencies. Okay, we'll use those. We love things. We love things. Okay. Oh my God. I had this cheesecake last night. I loved it. It was amazing. We're level 10 on things where normal people are level 5. Okay. So we just fall in love with things. Okay. And so what happens is when we try and do things that we don't like them level 5 like other people. We don't like them level 10.
Yeah.
It starts to create feelings of pain and anguish. So your inner child, she's going, we don't love this. We love the other thing better. So for what reason did you leave the last job?
I had been at that job for 10 years. I did love it, but I was looking for a change, just looking for, to be honest, also more pay. The job was great, but I was just not making enough money for the goals and, the rising costs of the Bay Area. I live in Fremont, California. So, yeah, it was just, I was also just ready for a new adventure. I was. I had gotten my undergraduate degree in communications, and I was like, yeah, I'm ready for a new adventure. I love this job, but I'm ready to go somewhere else. And in all honesty, I had kind of forgotten this because I've had my job now for over 2 years. It was a last resort. It was I don't want to be here, but I'm going to use this as a stepping stone. And I'm going to make it, I had that mentality of like, it's not what you do, it's how you do it. Not that that's not true, but it's not proven true for me, at least in this case. And, yeah, so I love what you said about that. Like, yeah, we love things level 10 and we also hate things level 10. And it's just hard to change that mind frame. My brain doesn't work that way.
No, there's no changing that. It's like you like wishing that, like, okay, I'm no longer going to be a blonde. I'm just going to wish this out right now. I can color my hair blonde, but I can go from a blonde to a brunette, but I'm still a blonde.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And I can try and convince myself that I'm okay with this job level 5, but really I don't like it level 5. I don't like it level 10. So, by the way, Carrie, thanks for that question. Eric, jump in, buddy. What do you got for us?
I was just going to say I kind of had the same type of experiences she's having. Is I worked for this marketing company when I lived in Las Vegas, and one of our clients was Marlboro cigarettes. And I was a smoker at the time, and it was my job to walk around and get people to sign up on like their email marketing list, because Marlboro couldn't really advertise. So what they really did was they worked at concerts and we worked at bars, and we walk around and like hand out coupons to people where you could get a pack of cigarettes for $1. And there were so many times I was talking to people and they're like, oh man, I just quit, or oh, I'm trying to quit. And I felt so bad, trying to get them to smoke or trying to get them to get a pack of cigarettes, or, especially because when people start drinking, they're like, oh, I just quit, but I really want a cigarette. And I really hated that. I really hated giving them and helping them with their addiction, even though I was a smoker myself. I was like, it's one thing for me to smoke, but to help somebody else, it just made me feel awful. Even though I wanted to be in marketing, I was like, I just couldn't do this. And it wasn't, like I said, I was smoking. It was just that inner critic that was just like, dude, you can't be helping people smoke. You know how bad it is for you. And I didn't really want to be helping other people out. And so I kind of feel like she has that same sort of thought process that, like you're selling the places, and what if these people are trying to quit and here you are, it's your job to perpetuate that same thing. And so that might be some of the thoughts that you're feeling, but I just wanted to say that.
It's perfect. What do you think about that, Samantha?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think, that has been a big message for me. But I guess what I do is I tell myself that I'm using it as an excuse. Like, right? Like if I quit my job, people are still going to be selling this. And, so I go back and forth, like say, like really, I it's not like I'm making the difference. So, this is me just using an excuse because I don't like my job. And, yeah, but then I do. It totally is one of those, it's definitely on the cons list.
How about this? Let me, as soon as you said, I got to formulate this question because it just landed. Okay, how about this? Isn't simply not liking your job enough?
I guess I don't think that. I mean,
no,
yeah.
you in other words, there's this idea that, like unconditional love, for example, We know what unconditional love is, and we know what conditional love is. I will only be loved if.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So there is a condition here. And so you're qualifying that I don't like this job. Versus me saying, why do you even need to qualify? I don't like this job.
Mm. Yeah. You know, I tend to, my thought processes are, I guess, even I've learned this in recovery too, of just, for me, I need to have evidence for every decision I make to prove myself that I'm right or justified or doing whatever it is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Especially being married to
Mm-hmm.
another person who definitely, I mean, I love my husband. We have a good relationship, but he definitely can be a trigger for me too. Like sometimes I feel like I need to justify myself to him, and because he's like, I've got a job I hate too, but I go to it every day, and that's what we do. This job is making you more money than you could probably make if you were going to get like a beginner's job in a different industry. So this works better towards our goals, and so that's what we do. And so yeah, I feel like I have to have like this whole list of the reasons why this job is no good for me, and not just
The
because I don't
reasons.
like it and I don't want
Mm-hmm.
to, but I have to have a concise, like, let me become a lawyer and prove this to you so that we can, justify me getting a new job. And, and a job that I want, a job that I like. And those, unfortunately, tend to be lower paying jobs. So, or jobs that need more schooling. And so, yeah, it's hard.
So basically you have to lawyer up with your husband.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is why when I ask you, why isn't quitting your job or not liking your job enough? The real answer is because it's not good enough for my husband.
Yeah.
Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to first we got to shrink things down. We have to take them down to the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Because what I can do is I can create language to distract myself. All this language, it goes against my belief systems and it goes against me, and I'm peddling alcohol and all of a sudden I'm just going to just keep talking and talking and creating distractions to avoid the pain. Mm-hmm. What is the pain, Samantha?
I don't like my job, and I don't want to have to do it.
Sit with that for a moment and take a deep breath. Take a few deep breaths. Now I want you to say that again.
I don't like my job, and I don't want to have to do it.
Breathe. Breathe. Touch your heart. Touch your heart. Do you know why you're crying?
It's probably several reasons, but what's coming up is, standing up to authority.
Standing up to authority. Who's the authority right now?
My husband.
Who was your first authority?
Oh, man.
Here we go.
My dad.
So what happened?
Ooh. Which one are you talking about?
When was the first time you tried to stand up for yourself?
To be honest, with my dad, I never have.
Mm.
And with my husband, I never have until recovery. You know, in any ways, you know, the ways I used to stand up were to, you know, manipulate and, you know, make people feel, make them feel bad, or like I, you know, kind of take on that victim role.
Mm.
But as I am not doing that anymore, and I have to just, again, you know, yeah, I have to be honest and truthful. I'm like, I need evidence, I need reasoning, I need this and that so that I can change their mind, get them to agree.
So you never stood up to your dad.
Yeah, no.
Tell me about a moment that you're thinking about right now about your dad. When you were young.
It was, you know, I am a total daddy's girl. And the reason I am is because I knew how violent and angry he could be. And so in my recovery work, I've discovered, yeah, get on their side, get on board, do whatever they say, and then they'll never be mad at you. And so a time that I can remember wanting to stand up to my dad, but not being able to, is times that he's been violent with my mom and with my younger brother. And I was a kid, right? There's nothing I could do. So I just had to stay quiet.
But you wanted to do something.
Yes. And these days.
Tell me about what was going through your mind. What did you want to do?
I wanted to hurt him. I wanted to yell at him to stop. Yeah, just be angry. I wanted to stop it.
So, a whole lot here.
Yeah.
There is a whole lot. And, you know, usually it takes me many, many hours to work through this because there are a lot of components. But right now, what's coming to what you're allowing to come to the surface is some anger. And you have this daddy littles girl, you know, persona. You are just like this adorable, squeezable, like, I didn't even know you were 33. You're 33, right?
Yeah. 34. Yeah.
34. Right. See, I keep going younger. Okay. You've stayed a child. You've maintained this very childish quality. You have created this persona, this soft, malleable quality, this daddy's girl, to protect yourself, to keep you safe. I wanted to say something to him. I wanted to stand up to him, but I was afraid. I wanted to hurt him. As soon as you say that, repressed anger, now it's starting to come up. Oh, the real Samantha's starting to show up. She's angry. She wants, okay, so let's just real quick. What would you like to tell your dad, like right now?
It's kind of difficult to say because it has been a really long time since he's been like that. But yeah, how could you?
Keep going. Let's get this out. Set her free. How could you? Keep going.
You have no idea the pain you caused. And how could you do that to another human being? Yeah, I don't think my brain really lets me go there. I think it just kind of turns off.
Because it's going somewhere else too. It's going somewhere else too. Where else is it going? Because it's not holding just your dad accountable. It's holding somebody else accountable.
My mom, for sure. You know, I told this story recently about, you know, for many years, I told myself that my mom deserved what she got. Because she was crazy and emotional and she would push his buttons. So the messages that I got about women came from both of my parents. And for a really long time, I mean, yeah, that causes self-hate and low self-esteem. I never even considered that, like, until recently, that, like, yeah, I'm a woman and I don't deserve that. And recovery has helped me really since 2016. It's been like a really great recovery process for me to be like super like female empowerment and feminist, and, you know, connecting with women rather than competing with women. So that's been a really great journey for me, and recovery has only, you know, made that better. And yeah, you know, and I've also had to, you know, ninth step for sure, I had to forgive myself for believing those messages. And I am still working on it, but yeah, I guess there still is a lot there. And you know, yeah, it is. My mom eventually left and went on a drug rampage and was not there for us during my teen years. And my dad was, and he changed. He quit drinking for 10 years. He married somebody else, and he was a very nice guy, not violent at all. No arguing, no yelling, very stable household. And so in my head, I guess it's just like, well, he's the good guy. He's the good guy. And, you know, it just never, yeah, I never really got a chance to be mad, and I never could. You know, and it all kind of went to my mom, who was a scapegoat. And, you know, yeah, it's taken a really long time to equally balance, put the responsibility, you know, where it was on both people, not the responsibility, the accountability. Yeah, that they both had a part in that. They were both participants. And
how's your relationship with your father today?
so, for many years, I would say it's really good. But again, in recovery, it's, you know, we don't talk to each other very often, but when we do, we get along, and he's pretty supportive. And he is kind of an emotionally distant guy, but you know, he's very non-judgmental and very accepting and supportive of many of the things that I do. But it's just, yeah, there's not a lot of connection or closeness there on an emotional level. So it's more of like, you know, this is what you do. You call your parent, you see them on the holidays, and that's about it. And with the pandemic, to be honest, you know, I've made a lot of changes. However, I haven't seen my family very much at all, because I don't want to put anyone at risk, including myself. So we've been pretty distant. However, in any of the few conversations we've had, I've gotten a lot more honest and open, but not necessarily bringing up the past, right? It's just not.
And I'm not saying that you need to. I'm not saying that you need to do it directly. But like what we just did right here, when you said what you said and you allowed yourself to feel, you allowed yourself to cry, how do you feel in this moment? Do you feel heavier or do you feel lighter?
Well, that's a loaded question. I do feel lighter. They're definitely healing tears.
I'll turn this down if it's bothering me.
For sure. So, Yeah.
So give me one sec here. Tori, you got this? I got this.
Yeah, don't worry, I got it.
You got it? Okay. So I want you to finish this statement as quickly as you can, right? Just whatever comes to your mind, okay? I'm still punishing myself because.
Because I'm not good enough is what comes to mind.
And what did you do that wasn't good enough?
Stick up for myself. Speak up.
What about your brothers and sisters?
What about my brothers? I'm sorry. What was that?
Did you have brothers and sisters or just brothers?
I have an older brother and a younger brother.
Okay. And you wanted to stand up for them.
Yes. It's different dynamics for my younger brother. He was a little different. He was a little more open and honest a lot of times, where my older brother and I knew just to keep quiet, don't say anything, and my younger brother did. So he definitely got some physical attention there a couple of times, and my older brother would only if we fought. And so sometimes I'd feel guilty because my dad would hit or hurt my older brother if he did something to me. And so there's a lot of guilt there too that I've been, I really understand and have forgiven myself for that's not on me. That was on my dad. So I have had a lot of self-forgiveness. However, yeah, I haven't been ready to make amends to my dad yet.
So I'm not good enough. So I'm still punishing myself because I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough at sticking up for myself and defending myself.
Mm-hmm.
So could it be that maybe life is putting you in situations where you can stand up for yourself and defend yourself?
Yeah.
Like right now is an opportunity for you to stand up for yourself.
Mm.
And if you don't take this opportunity now, this opportunity is going to be continued to be offered to you.
Mm.
So your soul contract, part of your soul contract was to come here to this earth to learn how to stand up for yourself. And part of learning to stand up for yourself is once you learn how to do that, you teach others.
Mm.
You teach others. I came here to do the same thing.
Mm.
I came here to learn how to stand up for myself. So I spent the majority of my time in school, grade school and high school, being picked on and bullied until I finally stood up for myself. But it was going to continue until I stood up for myself. I recognize that now.
Mm.
And standing up for my father, I finally stood up to my father. And the last person I had to stand up to was my mother.
Mm.
But there's only one way to learn how to stand up for yourself. And how's that, Samantha?
Is to say something.
Is to stand up for yourself. You say no. You say fuck you.
Yeah.
It's not my circus. It's not my monkeys.
Mm-hmm.
And there's this fear of letting him down, of disappointing your husband.
Yeah.
And who else did you fear disappointing?
My brothers.
Tell me about your brothers.
Now or then?
How do you feel you let them down?
So as I said, like with my older brother, I feel like I caused a lot of his problems because of the dynamic of our relationship. And yeah, if we ever got into just a sibling fight, obviously when you are in a household that allows for violence, then you tend to, hit your brothers, and and your brothers hit you, and so that's perpetuated. But my dad was just not accepting of that. So so if my brother and I were in an argument or fighting each other or yelling or screaming, he would hurt my brother and tell him to knock it off. And I felt responsible for that. And then with the dynamics of my younger brother, who, just wouldn't learn his lesson and be quiet. I felt responsible. Like I couldn't, I couldn't keep him from getting hurt. Just the same way as with my mom, right? I know what's going to happen. I would do that. They would call me the mediator. I would try, and if an argument started, I would get up on the table and be like, okay, let's stop. But once it passed a certain threshold, it was retreat, hide, take cover.
So guess what we learned? You do know how to stand up for yourself, but there was times where you stood up for yourself and you got afraid.
Yeah.
The pushback was too much.
Right.
So you do know how to stand up for yourself. You know the difference between right and wrong. You know what to do. However, your dad was not in a position, in a place of love. He could not come from a place of love for you because of his own pain. But a lot of you right now, as you think about standing up to your husband, what's coming up is just the feelings associated with standing up for yourself. It's not about your husband. It's about the idea of standing up for yourself and what potentially that could mean. Right. So even though I want to stand up for myself, this is what I want, there's a part of me that goes, yeah, but this is dangerous. This could be very, very dangerous. This could hurt us. We could be hurt. We could be yelled at. We gotta get hit. Yeah. And it's not language. Like right now I'm putting language to it. The only thing you're feeling is as you get closer to standing up for yourself, this fear starts to surface. So what's being triggered is this fear. And we started this whole conversation with triggered. I'm not triggered to drink. I said, what are you triggered? Okay. And it's my self-worth. That's being triggered, right? Yeah. And when I'm unable to stand up for myself, what's being triggered? I am not enough. Right. I'm not good enough to stand up for myself. Right. Because or even, I don't deserve that. Yeah. I just need to be quiet and get on board. Okay. I just dropped a bunch on you. This is just if there was a glass of water over you and I just went. So tell me right now what's coming up for you. Well, I just think what's coming up for me is, it's definitely a work in progress. I mean, this is what I work on in ACA all the time. And, it's so weird too, how I have 3 sponsees in the program, and when things like this come up for them, I guide and I, give them the support and the love and you can do this, you got this and all of that. But none of those messages are what I tell myself. It's rare, or again, when you're at peace and you're things are good, I'm feeling good, I love myself, I'm great, I am enough. But when I'm in the moment and when I'm triggered,
it's just all washed away. And, you know, and then, yeah, I mean, this is why all these lists and, you know, just trying to rationalize it and saying, you know, they're right, I'm wrong. But let me try and figure out, like, let me get on their wavelength so that I feel right about this decision. And I can't, and I'm struggling to, I'm not able to. And so, yeah, it just circles back to, I don't want to do this job. I don't want to be here. And just feeling stuck.
Okay.
Like I can't say anything.
So let's do this. I want you to pretend. All right. So first take a deep breath. And I want you to deep breath, deep breath, deep breath. Let's let the energy settle. There's some intensity. Let's let the energy settle. And I want you to come from a place of strength. Okay? And your strength is as a sponsor. So I need you to come from that space, from that place. And I want you to imagine that your sponsee is coming up to you right now. And she says, Samantha, I don't know what to do. I'm really struggling. I'm working at this job. I feel like I'm selling my soul. You know, it's killing me, you know, but my husband's like, you can't just quit this job. We have responsibilities. I feel guilty about, you know, keeping the job. I feel guilty about quitting the job. I feel all these feelings. I don't know what to do. What should I do? What do you tell her?
If what you want is to quit your job, trust your intuition. Trust your intuition. And if your husband really loves you, he'll get on board. And, you know, you're an adult, you're a responsible adult. You don't want to hurt anybody. You don't want to throw anyone out on the streets. You're not going to just quit your job and not get a new one. You know, find something else that feels right for you. And if your husband is loving and supportive, like he says he is, then he'll get on board. And it's not your responsibility to make sure that he's, you know, it's not his decision to make. You know, his feelings are his feelings, your feelings are your feelings, and you've got to take care of them together. So
Thank you for joining us on another episode of the Recovery Coaching Call. It's been another amazing call as we come to the conclusion of another amazing session. Samantha, I want to remind you of something very important. The answers are always within. This did not come from me. Didn't come from anyone here in this group. They came from you, from the most authentic, most genuine version of who you are. Your truth.
Thank you for helping me with that.
Thank you for letting me. How do you feel?
I feel good. I feel guilty for taking up all this time, but
the guilt, that's why we're here.
But yeah, I do. I feel like there's a little more clarity. You know, I hate when I do get clarity all the time when I'm journaling and praying and meditating, and I walk away from that. And it's like the more steps I take, I walk away. It's just that clarity just gets fogged up again. And so
I'll remind you of the other thing too, which is a very important point. When you're in that place, when you're lost in the forest, best thing to do is just pray for guidance. It's dark in here. I've lost my way. I'm struggling. Please help me. Please.
I text my sponsee that this morning. just did. I gave her a little prayer to do. I said,
don't you just love life's little ironies?
yes, yeah. Yeah, they are great. It keeps the humor in things.
Life is about joy, Samantha.
Yeah.
That's it. Our only purpose is to receive and give and receive love, joy, and happiness. That's it. That's our only purpose, is to give it, receive it, create it, send it. Love, joy, happiness. That's it. If you're not happy, if you're not filled with joy, if you're not enjoying what you do, that's simply just your own internal guidance system guiding you. It's telling you which direction to go. And you just got to get out of this place.
Yeah.
And go into this place. Because this one knew exactly what to do when she became the observer. When you started sponsoring yourself. You know, they say you can't sponsor yourself. It's not true. It's a gaffe. You can. And you can coach yourself. That's why I do these. You listen back to these, you'll realize you can just coach yourself. You just have to ask yourself better questions.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm so proud of you. Well done.
Thank you.
All right. Standing up for yourself. That's my girl. All right. We got a few minutes. Does anyone want to send Samantha some love?
I'll share real quick. Samantha, thank you for your vulnerability, because when you were talking, I was like, hold up, this girl telling my story. Because I am one too who has compromised my own needs for the sake of others, and then it becomes internalized resentment. But just you asking, popping up and asking for time is you standing up for yourself at the very beginning of this. And that, keep that in mind when you go and say, hey, I'm not happy, and you asked for what you needed here, and you're fully capable of doing it anywhere else. And I get it, because I am one who can give advice but not internalize it, and that is, I think a lot of us suffer from that. And the ACA thing, ACOA is something I very much relate to. So I just appreciate your share. I really related a lot to it and got a lot from it. So thank you.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Anyone else? Liz?
Hello. I just feel the same way. I was like, it's funny because I always felt that way towards my dad, that I was never good enough. And now I'm thinking about, oh my gosh, I've got work to do now with my stepdad. Same exact thing. Just he was there, but he was always bullying, the other kids. And I was just meek and just, nope, I'm going to be perfect. And I was always called the favorite because I didn't do anything wrong. Well, that's because I saw what would happen if I did anything wrong. But yet I also didn't speak my truth or use my voice. And then, now that I have started using it and speaking my truth, I can tell you, when you start doing that, your voice is going to shake, and that's okay. It's a practice, when you really know what you want and know what you need to say, it comes to you, and your voice may shake. I just know that that's okay. So I commend you. Thank you for speaking up and sharing with us. It was very powerful.
Thanks, Liz.
Thank you, Liz. All right. I think that's it. We're just going to close right there, because Samantha, that was beautiful. That was one of my favorite. This has got to be one of my favorite coaching calls. We went through an entire journey together.
Yeah.
You and I. We did it. We went on an entire journey together, and we came out like on top.
Wow. Yeah.
Good for
and
you.
With my overthinking, I'm like, I know, I think I know what will be said. I think I know where it's going to go. And I even I humbled myself a little bit before this. And I was like, I tend to do that, and there's faulty thinking there, and thinking I know exactly what's going to happen because, but I knew it's a godsend that got me here. It's a God shot for sure. But I knew I was supposed to be here today. So I appreciate you having this community and listening to me today.
Thank you for honoring us with your presence and sharing that with us. So my action item for you is take the little prayer suggestion that you gave to your son. Okay, use it every day. Okay, like every morning, I want you to do that. Journal, pray, ask for guidance, and then constantly be breathing into your heart, and so that you can come from a place of love and understanding when you go to talk to your husband. That's all. Come from a place of love and understanding for yourself.
Mm.
This is not about coming up with the evidence that's for him.
Mm.
This is about speaking your truth and knowing that, what was that? Trust your intuition. And if he loves you the way he says he does, then he'll understand.
Mm.
You got this. I love you.
Yeah.
You did a good job today. Well done. All right, folks. Now we have reached the end of our call. Big hand for Samantha, for everyone that shared, and we'll see you all next Wednesday.